In September, Google will celebrate its 20th birthday. When it was founded in 1998, it was one of many search engines, but it quickly became the chief gateway to the internet and is now one of a handful of tech companies that dominate not just the American economy, but also increasingly American life. It recently received a birthday present from the European Union, a record $5 billion fine for violating antitrust laws. That came just a week after the UK slapped Facebook with a fine for allowing Cambridge Analytica to mine personal data from as many as 87 million Facebook users. The penalty was much smaller, $660,000, but it was the maximum allowed under British law. These punishments are one sign that the era of unbridled faith and optimism in the technology industry is coming to an end. As the information revolution took off in the 1990s, we all got caught up in the excitement of the age, along with the novelty of the products and their transformative power. And yet, as these revolutionary technologies created new industries, destroyed others, and reshaped communities and cities, we simply assumed that this was the way of the world and nothing could be done to change it or shape it. That would have been socialist-style interference with the free market. But the result does not seem to be one that a libertarian would celebrate. We now have a tech economy dominated by just a few mammoth companies that effectively create a barrier to entry for newcomers. The other noticeable consequence has been the erosion of privacy, highlighted by the Cambridge Analytica Facebook scandal. Because technology companies now deal with billions of consumers, any individual is a speck, a tiny data point. And since for most technology companies, the individual consumer is also a product whose information is sold to others for a profit, he or she is doubly disempowered. Change is likely to come from two directions. Regulatory action in the West will force companies to play by the rules, as the recent fines show, and will create new rules that give more control to the individual. In May, the European Union instituted the General Data Protection Regulation, which makes it much easier for people to know how their data is being used and to limit that use. Violators can be fined up to 4% of their global annual sales. Importantly, these rules apply to any company working with Europeans' data, so American tech companies have had to change their policies too. The second direction is even more intriguing and comes from the East. Until recently, as the Indian entrepreneur Nandan Nilekani pointed out to me, there were just a handful of companies with more than 1 billion users on their platforms.